Hi, my name is F.A., and this is your encouragement to get through the day. Hello, wonderful people. Welcome to another Podcast Wednesday. I'm so glad you could join me for today's podcast. I hope you've had a great week and enjoyed the past two podcasts where I read your guys' responses to the question, what you wish your younger self knew. I loved hearing your guys' hearts and being able to just talk more in depth about what each of y'all said, and I really hope that the podcast encouraged you and you enjoyed the process. This week, I recorded a podcast, I was editing it, whatever, and I just really wasn't feeling it. I didn't think that it was supposed to go out. I had a strong feeling that I was just supposed to start all over again, but that also meant that this podcast didn't come out when it was supposed to, but I just wanted to be faithful to what the Lord was telling me. I'm someone that likes to be as authentic and real as possible, and don't get me wrong, I love editing, I love all of that. Give me an editing project, I'm all over it, right? But when it comes to content that I really want, like, for my heart, and I want to connect with you guys and not, like, come off as someone perfect, I really try not to edit as much as possible. And this, honestly, the recording I had for the podcast originally was kind of a big mess in that route, and I was just overwhelmed, and I was like, God, what do I do? And it was obvious I was just not supposed to post it. So, starting from scratch today, re-recording this, I'm very excited to see what comes out. I hope whatever I say speaks to you and encourages you. And without further ado, let's get started with this podcast. So I'm still keeping the same topic as I planned to, and that's on fear, just because I feel like it's such a relevant thing in my life, and I know in many other lives. And this week specifically, I've just been struggling a lot with it, and so I really want to speak out of my heart and where I'm at, and I hope that whatever I say touches you. And yeah, so a little background about me. I have always struggled with, like, anxiety, which is a kind of fear, and it, in times of my life has been overwhelming, taken over a little bit. But as I've gotten older, I've been able to manage it with it more, and the Lord's really healed me in that area quite a bit more. Like, I've been able to feel His peace more and stuff like that, but it's been really hard. And so lately I feel like for some reason the fear I have hasn't been as much as anxiety, as much as just straight up fear. But the difference between fear and anxiety is, like, fear is knowing, like, there's a threat, and anxiety is kind of dwelling on a possible threat. So in that sense, I guess it's more anxiety, but it's, like, really hard to get in the nitty gritty to figure out exactly, like, what the title is for, what you're feeling. But I found this week, whenever I was fearing, I was very tempted to just go off by myself and just be in my own head, cry it out, whatever I needed to do, right? But through this season of my life, I've really been encouraged to talk to people and to open up and not be afraid to be vulnerable. And so there was one night where I was just kind of a mess, but I had no room to express that or, like, break down. Like, I felt like I wanted to just cry, but I couldn't. Just because of where I was. And so anyway, that night I got together with a group of people, and it ended up just coming out. And honestly, it was so releasing. Like, there's fear itself, right? And then there's fear of letting people know you're fearful, which can come off as weak, and it's, like, really hard in society to do that, because, like, we all want to, like, be seen as strong, and, like, that we're not, like, worried about this, that, and the other. But in, like, reality, like, we all are struggling to some level with that. And it's such a real thing, and I just want you to know that if you're struggling with fear, anxiety, whatever, that you're not alone, that other people are there, that they may relate more than you think, and you won't know that until you actually speak up about it. And oftentimes when things are in the dark, they can't get fixed, or they can't have room to grow and get better and, like, help you improve, a lot of things need to be brought to light so that you have accountability, so that the Lord can use it in a more positive way. So anyway, I had shared with that group, but I still had a part of me that really, I guess, needed to be exposed, but I didn't want to. And so after that group, it was on Zoom. I went to the door of the house I'm living in, and the couple that I live with were sitting there, and I was like, I'm going to go on a car ride. I'll see y'all later. They're like, okay. So I go in my car. I turn on the music. Well, I turn on my car, and the music turns on because my worship music was most definitely already blasting on my phone before. It's always just on cue. But so it turned on, and right when it did, I literally like felt a pull to go back inside, and it was so weird because all I wanted to do was just go on a drive by myself, maybe cry it out, speak, sing, whatever I needed, right? The biggest thing though is honestly, I was tempted to get ice cream, and sugar, no bueno. It was going to be a coping thing, and that was not smart, right? So long story short, came back inside, and the people I lived with were like, are you okay? Like, is the car broken? Like, what happened? And I'm like, actually, I feel like I'm supposed to talk to y'all. They're like, oh, okay. And they pull up a chair, like, in front of the couch. It felt like a counseling session. It was really funny. But then I just, like, started pouring out all this stuff in my heart, and I didn't even know, like, half of it was there, and I've never been able to express some of the things that I did, and it was really just eye-opening, and, like, the fact that they, like, just didn't judge me and, like, ask me questions that got me thinking, and also help me have step-by-steps to face my fear, and also, like, know that, like, God is in control, and, like, I obviously, like, have a calling in my life, and, like, things are gonna line up with whatever God has for me, and, like, they were just, like, so encouraging in that, and I was honestly really scared to be so vulnerable because I didn't want to be judged. I didn't, just want for them to look at me differently or whatever. But if anything, afterwards, like, I feel like our relationship is stronger, and it's really great. But, needless to say, fear will fester. It will continue to fester if you keep it to yourself, and you don't have community, and you don't, if you believe in God, like, pursue Jesus, like, it only gets worse if you just let it sit there. Like, you have to get to the root of it. And oftentimes, fear can be a motivation, like a good motivation. And also, though, it can be a signal of things you have to really look out for. And it's a good thing to have those signals, but there's a difference between having a signal and just dwelling on it all the time, That gets unhealthy. And so it's this balance throughout life of trying to figure out what's healthy fear, what's not. Like, how do I go forward with this? And how can I turn this into something good? How can Jesus turn this into something good? How can I just be better because of this fear? And being someone that is more on the introverted side and that will just think of things all the time, it gets bad. And I find myself often just going away from community whenever I'm in those moments. And so then I am, like, covering it up. Like, I'm avoiding, approaching it. But lately I've been trying to approach things more, and I've seen so much healthy things coming out of it. And just, like, having a community be like, hey, how is this doing? Like, and, like, just being able to ask advice and knowing that they are genuine in their advice, and, like, being able to be open about my feelings is just a freeing feeling. And so I encourage you to do that if you're struggling with fear. And also, I was listening to the song You Make Me Brave by Bethel when I was working yesterday. And one of the lyrics in the song says, no fear can hinder now the promises you made. You make me brave. It's so good. Like, no fear can hinder now the promises you made. No matter how much fear we have, like, God has so many promises over our life and such a plan for us that even if we fear, like, He will go in front of that fear. He will continue to let His promises work out. If they're not His promises, they're not going to work out. And so just having that trust that, like, things are genuinely going to go how they're supposed to go, and things will be okay, even if that okay doesn't look like how we think it's going to look. There's that promise that things are going to turn out the way they're supposed to turn out, and we just have to trust and let Jesus let us be brave. Let us step out and be like, Lord, use me. Let me be used for whatever you have. Even if I'm fearful, even if I think, oh, this is too good to be true. You're about to take it away. If God truly wants it for you, he will not take it away, and he is here for us. If you don't believe in this, I would love to talk to you more. I don't want to push like faith on anybody, but this is like where I like come from and like where I've been, and this is like the place that I'm at, and I have just seen so much fruit in trusting. And whenever I don't trust is when I fall into temptation, when I fall into sin, when I fall into the constant thought process that just eats me up day and night, and like it's so not good. And it's really hard. It's really hard to trust and push forward. I used to be such a control freak, major control freak. That can still sometimes come out of me. But this past year, I had like a big moment where I was like, I can't control this anymore. Like, I can't do this. Like, I physically cannot control this. And I don't understand why half these things are happening. But I'm just going to trust that they're for a reason. And like things started to line up. And it's like, wow, I couldn't have done that on my own. Even like my summer plans right now, like I could have not planned that on my own. It literally fell into place the way it was supposed to, and a way that I could never, ever, ever imagine. Like, I stayed where my college is, and I was not expecting to do that at all, but my family was moving and whatever, and I did not feel like I would thrive in a new place again, because I just, like, got settled here, and I was missing the place they moved from, and, like, I knew it wouldn't be healthy. I'd sit at home and be like, oh, I want to hang out with someone today. Oh, wait, there's no one to hang out with. You know, just like that kind of sadness. And I knew that it would not be good for mental health. So I ended up staying near my college. And I felt all of a sudden a different call in my life before summer even started. And just seeing how God, like, continued to shape that through the summer and, like, confirm so many things for me. And I made some drastic changes for myself. And they were for the better. And it truly wouldn't have happened if I did not give up control. It's so easy to want to control because we want things to turn out the way we want them to turn out. But at the end of the day, A, that might stress us out more trying to control everything. And B, we don't have all the wisdom in the world. We don't know how some things are going to turn out. Like, no matter how much we try to control, we can't control everything, and we just don't know what's up next. And so even like being overwhelmed with trying to control things that happen in your life, friendships, etc., at the end of the day, it just drains you and can get frustrating because we can never fully control things. And so just being able to trust and give up that control, even like trust in others that they're there for us and like they aren't there to hurt us, they want what's best for us, like trusting that too is such a big step as well, because I've always had trouble trusting people too. You know, our past experiences can scar us and make it hard and make us like block off people and not be able to fully like communicate and like trust and be able to be open. But once you start doing that and like feel the peace with whoever you're talking to or your friends, like it's truly beautiful and you can truly see the goodness. But you won't see the goodness until you trust and open up and don't try to control everything. I could go on and on and on, obviously, but needless to say, people are there for you, even if you feel like they're not. Keep your eyes open and trust that God's going to send people your way to be there for you and that you can share your heart with, because when you share your heart, there's just such a release and you're able to even dig down deep and continue to heal from whatever you need to, and you're also able to pursue life in a different light. And it's truly encouraging, and I just feel so blessed to be able to have community like that and that I've been able to turn to when I am fearful. Some practical ways to face fear are obviously, like I said, you can confide in people, talk to Jesus, whatever that communication cycle works out for you. However, you can also do things that you love that will bring you peace. Like the other day, I like sat down and painted, which I hadn't done in months, and it made me so happy. And music every time. For me, worshiping the Lord is when I have the most peace. So I'll just pick up my guitar or piano, obviously not pick up my piano, but play it. And I'll just sing, and, it's just so calming. And the lyrics of the songs just remind me that there's so much hope, that there's no reason to fear. And it just is a really good calming thing. A lot of people go on runs, exercise, go to the gym, walk, cook. Cooking's so fun. I love cooking. There's a list of things you can do, but there's so many things that are better than just like sitting in your fear. You need to think about what you're fearing and like how to move out of that instead of letting it fester and not addressing it. But after a certain amount of time, like, you shouldn't do that too much. And so then, you can try other things that make you peaceful and will help you get out of that fear rut, Those things are very encouraging in themselves. Thank you, Mr. Carr, for driving by. I really appreciate you. But anyway, also writing out what you're grateful for, remembering, like, the things that you are so grateful for, the blessings in your life, the good things that have happened, like, will really encourage you that, like, there is a better outcome. It's not always something you have to fear about. And it's just really encouraging to yourself. Those are definitely the few things that I think really are important when you're dealing with fear. And also, like, journaling is really good too. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. It was kind of a big ramble. I hope that you got some encouragement out of it and that you continue to be brave in your life and trust that things are going to work out. And, like, you guys are stronger than you know. I believe in you so much, and I know that God has great plans for you. And so I encourage you to just trust in that. It's easier said than done, but life can be so much more full and better when you're walking out in that fear and being able to be brave and being able to enjoy what is in front of you. I hope you have a great rest of your week. If you have a topic you would like me to talk about, for sure, please contact me. I love to hear your guys' feedback, and I want to be here for you guys and encourage you guys. And I hope to ask another question eventually on social media. We'll see as the weeks go by. Maybe have some special guests or something. I've been talking to a few people. Yay. And so I'm really excited to see what this can turn into. I am so glad you could join me today. And always remember, you got this.